a little bit some stuff around. Interesting. All right, we are live. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome to a Thursday night live stream. I actually haven't been live streaming as much. Trying to catch up on videos and stuff like that. But we're here nonetheless. We got Regina the Techie. How you doing?
I'm good. How's it going?
Good, good. Great to have you. I've seen some of your videos, and I said, you know what? I need to bring new people on. Having no offense to anybody, but having the people that are always on gets boring not only for me but for the viewers. So I said, why not bring somebody new? And I know that you're just as much of a computer tech fan as I am. Now, do you want to talk about what you do and what your channel is all about?
Well, basically, my channel is about the computer repair that I do. I own a business here called Efficient Tech Solutions, where I do computer repair and all kind of tech related stuff. I try to incorporate as much as that as possible, and I also try to promote like other stuff that I do on the side outside of my business.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
cool. So you now, what do you concentrate more on? Do you do like more Windows computers, or other computers as well?
I mainly try to focus on Windows, but every now and then I'll do a Mac or like an iPad as well.
Oh, okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've watched videos in the past of people tearing stuff apart, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I really like it.
Yeah.
Would I ever do it myself? Probably not, because I'd probably break something.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I,
scary sometimes, especially when you're dealing with Apple. Those are very easy to break, especially those cords and cables. Yeah.
yeah. How long have you been doing it?
I've been in business for about 10 years. I started kind of right out of high school going into
Oh,
college. Hmm.
oh, okay, okay. I see we got Tech for Your Needs in the chat. What's up? What's up, man? How are you? Tech for Your Needs. You're the next victim that I want on screen. You're the next person I would love to get on. It's been a minute since I've had you on, so um, so that's awesome. So let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on um Apple versus the PC versus Mac? What I named the stream. What are your thoughts? And what's your personal opinion? Um, what's your personal driver, so to speak?
Well, I use both. I have a MacBook and I also have two other Windows
Ooh,
laptops. Um,
okay.
Being that I use the iPhone, I kind of prefer the Mac because it's easy to transfer and AirDrop stuff. But when it comes to my work and the computer repair end of it, especially like getting copies of Windows 11, Windows 10, I prefer the Windows for work.
It's just easier to.
Hmm.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
What's up, Sharkfin Tech? How are you, man? What's going on? Um, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like when it comes to everything working together, Apple's just where it's at. I haven't seen them doing much with Windows and making it easy for like an Android person
Mm.
to do stuff, and I wish that they would do that
Yeah.
because honestly, um, I'm saving so I don't know how you feel, but I'm saving so much battery on my phone by using my computer at home with iMessage, FaceTime, and all that. I keep saying this. It's just like, man, before when I used to because I used to own a PC and I had
Mhm.
it for like 8 years. Actually, I know Tech Viennese kind of remembers this because he's been a long time follower. When I first started the channel, I was doing my streams off my PC, and boy, was it terrible. I mean, first of all, I had a PC that had one of those cameras right on the computer, and and I can't say I think it was good for its time, but I just think that over time it just it was just getting very slow. Um, just because I've used it so much, and I probably had a ton of junk on there that I don't remember having that I couldn't find anymore. So you know, and I just remember like having streams and literally it taking 1 to 2 minutes to start the stream and 1 to 2 minutes to stop the stream. And actually, sometimes my computer midstream would just shut down and I would have to log
Oh
onto my
wow.
phone and continue the stream from my phone. How many times?
Ooh.
Actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Talos of Tech and Viper. I've had both of them on, and both of those streams, I was just like, man, hoping for the best out of my computer,
Right.
and then it just goes, that's it. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, a
You,
lot of
you,
people
you're
don't know when buying computers in general, you have to pay attention to the processor speed and make sure it has SSD. And if it doesn't have SSD, then it definitely needs to be replaced with the SSD.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So at the time, just starting everything off, and had I known what I know today,
Mm.
man, I would have changed so much. But you know what? Like, it's so worth it. I feel, if you're just in that ecosystem, it's just so much. It's so worth it to have, a MacBook or an iPad or something,
Hmm.
to have everything work together. I mean, I never thought I would be this sucked in. I mean, no, and nothing against PC, nothing against PC users. I can't see myself going back to PC though. I really can't. It stinks, but um, let's see. TA, call those days tech woes 10 times. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I see people coming in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming on. Taylor, that's not true with Samsung. Their Windows laptops play very nicely with Samsung phones, Chromebook. Yeah, yeah, and I kind of see that happening more and more. But at the time that I had my PC, I didn't have anything to work with it, so um, that's just my part. So um, now, what would you recommend as far as PC goes? What would you recommend for somebody um, in this holiday season?
I would recommend maybe the laptops that Walmart have, but definitely stay away from the Chromebooks for sure.
Ooh,
Um, and Best Buy has some pretty good deals on them around this time of year as well. But like I said, definitely no Chromebooks because
ooh,
those, unless you're a student. Now, if you're a student, a Chromebook is okay, but it's not as good as a laptop, of course. But I would
gotcha.
say if you can afford it, go with a laptop. But if you can't, then you have to get what you can afford.
What laptop is your favorite, would you say?
Honestly, it's between HP, Dell, and Lenovo.
Ooh, ooh,
But if I just had to pick
okay,
one, I would probably say HP.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Cause see, I personally wouldn't recommend HP, and maybe it's just because my experience was just horrible with my desktop, but um, I think that that one is good. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this is a like an old computer, a Compaq. I think
Yes.
it's COMPAQ. I
Yes.
had one of those. That one was pretty nice. That one was pretty nice. Um, and what would you say? What would you recommend for like a MacBook, whatever?
Well, honestly, I have the 2019, the 16-inch
Ooh,
MacBook.
okay, okay.
I haven't really played around much with the M1s and the M2s, but
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I'm
definitely it depends on your budget. I would Now they
that.
say the best MacBooks are the 2012s to 2015s,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones after that are good as well.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I'm seeing Michael here. The new Dell laptop looked nice, but nothing to define the trackpad issue. Asus makes a pretty nice one, I think.
Mhm.
I've seen those in Best Buy and stuff. I see Flood TV, Mac forever. That's how I feel. That's how I feel, man. I'm still rocking. I know if my podcast buddies are here lurking, most likely you are or going to be. I have the 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro. Um, I got it probably like 2, 3 months before um, the M1s were announced.
Okay.
Should have waited, but I mean, who could predict that that was going to happen?
Right.
And my friends kept telling me, "Oh, you should just trade it in, get the new one." And I'm just like, man, at this point, as long as it works, as long as I can do whatever I can do, I'm fine. Do I wish I had, something better? Absolutely. I mean, now I'm starting into Final Cut Pro and everything, and like my computer sometimes, and I don't even do, I don't know if you've seen my videos, but I don't do long videos, maybe like 10 minutes max sometimes. And my computer at the end of the edit, it sounds like it's gonna take off, and
Yeah.
I'm I'm just like, come on, bruh. But
Right.
and I feel like before I wasn't, like I said, I don't do heavy editing, so
Mhm.
I need a machine pretty soon. But I think I've had this. I've lost count, but someone said probably a year and a half to 2 years already. So hopefully, maybe next year or the year after, I'll get something better. But for now, not so much. Um, I'm seeing Michael saying M1 MacBook Air is really hard to beat for the price if you do gaming. Macs are out of the window right now. Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. He's responding to Shark Fin. So, let me see. I didn't really plan too much tonight. I just thought we could just do a back and forth chat um, of our favorite things. What, as far as software goes, what's your favorite? Windows or on Mac?
Editing software or just software in general?
Just software in general.
For Mac, um, I would say iMovie is my favorite, and
Yeah,
um,
editing on iMovie is pretty nice.
yes, I actually prefer editing on my phone because doing it on my MacBook As soon as you're
Really?
done, it goes wild.
Ooh, damn. What do you now? Do you do let's talk about editing.
Okay.
Do you do any editing on the PC, or have you done editing on the PC?
It's been years since I've edited on a PC.
What were you using? Because personally, I could not find anything that I really liked on it that I could get used to, you know?
I'm really not sure, but I believe whatever it was built in. I believe it was like a DVD type editing
Oh,
software.
Windows Movie Maker, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah. No, I tried that one time and I couldn't I couldn't get it together with it. So I was like, again, my computer was just very old and
Mm.
not the best to start a channel with. Um, but yeah, those days, like I said, these guys can tell you. I mean, my first of all, the camera could have been a lot better. It was just the lighting in the room, the
Mm.
just made it really bad as well. Now I think, since I have this wall over here,
Mhm.
this actually I put up um with a friend because we were gonna do something on Facebook together. Ended up, doing a few episodes of it and then just re-canceled. So he's like, you know what? Keep the table, keep that, do your own thing, and here I am today. Now I have um little smartwatch, the Apple Watch band holders over here.
Okay.
I'm waiting for one of them just to fall on my head because sometimes sometimes I'll move it and like one of them will just fall down. I'm just like, come on, but you know. Um, Anybody here in the chat have any questions or anything? Drop them down in the chat as well. Um, I'm seeing Michael. Michael, are you talking to me or are you talking to Sharkfin? Because I don't know. You're confusing me, man. Literally, as soon as bruh, right here. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Those days, I don't even want to think about those days because I was not ready at all. Um, I honestly like when I first started inviting creators, especially the bigger creators like Talos and everything. I didn't think they would ever respond to such a small creator like me. And yeah, that was just Taylor. I'm talking to you. I didn't tag him. Oh, whoops. Well, I got confused. That's why. But um, if anyone wants to jump in the chat with us and have a fun time tonight, you guys are more than welcome to. Just let me know and I can send you guys a link. Um, is there anything that you wanted to talk about in particular tonight?
Um, Nothing in particular.
Okay. You think the iPad will ever replace the MacBook? Do I think that the iPad will replace MacBook? I don't think so. I mean, between software and hardware, it's getting close. I will say that. Whoops. It's getting close. I will say that, but I don't think that it's going to replace it. Um, I think that there's a place for both. Um, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that still prefer having a computer for different projects and different things, especially people who do video creation. I think that there are a lot more software as far as editing. Um, And I just think that it's just, yeah, MacBook, it'll never go away. Never go away. Michael Pepper says, link me. All right. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Michael, but he is a talker. Unlike me and you, he likes to talk. That's why I like to invite him. I mean, he has a fun time with us. So, um, Michael, check your DMs, man. I just sent you the link. Um, let's see. The iPad already replaces the MacBook for a lot of people. My parents use iPads to do a lot of their email, reading, billing, etc. Yeah, yeah. For those things, absolutely. I definitely think that the iPad is fine to get. But again, like if you're gonna use heavy apps and stuff like that, then you're better off getting a MacBook. Um, you'll just be much happier. I mean, I've even edited with iMovie. I've edited with LumaFusion a little bit. Um, I've edited with Vlo, VLLO. I love that app. But I don't think there's anything like DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, things like that on the computer. I don't think. And for those who want Final Cut on the iPad, I think we're lucky enough to get DaVinci Resolve. I mean, I gotta tell you guys right now, I think that um, having DaVinci is a lot better. I think that the iPad will never get to a place where it'll be able to support Final Cut Pro. Um, if it does, I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised. Um, which is better to invest in, Apple or Microsoft? I'll have you answer that one.
It really depends on what you're doing with it. If you're editing
Mm,
videos, pictures, stuff like that, I would say Apple. But if you're a basic everyday user, browsing the internet, email, stuff like that, nothing heavy, and maybe some gaming, I would say Windows, Microsoft.
mm, yeah, I would say the same thing. LumaFusion is now on Android phones and tablets too. Yeah, that is true. That is true. All right, we got Michael and what's up, man?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hey,
What's going on, bruh?
Hi, Regina. How are you? Nice to
hey,
meet you
how's
in
it
person.
going?
I know we've
You
chatted
too.
on Twitter and stuff a little bit, and I've commented on stuff every once in a while. So
what's up with the Talos of Tech background with the blue and all that?
these are like window lights. They're designed to go in like if you have like the thin like veiled windows curtains, and
Yeah,
they're designed to go in it, but we hung them for our wall because it's nice to just have like a little bit of light. Sometimes you don't want a really bright light.
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
I'm in here watching YouTube or something, my wife's trying to sleep, I don't want bright light on. But obviously, if I don't have that light on, this wouldn't look very clear because I
Right.
had to have all backlighting. But so,
Yeah, exactly.
and with our heat kicking on, like not in the living room right now. So otherwise, all
Wow.
you'd hear is the blowers from the heat.
I hear that, man.
My desk broke, so I'm till I fix that. I have a like portable laptop style one, and I'm working on
Oh,
kind of
okay.
getting that working right, but I don't know if it will support the mount for like my monitor, the clamp mount and all that. I don't know if because it's thinner, that might be too much stress on it, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Ooh,
I
bro.
want to get another
You're better
mount
off
for
just
my phone so I can just use that with my laptop and just do this and be fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have I don't have it here. Oh, actually I do. If if you guys look over there, hang on. Man, I cannot get this together. Sorry guys. If you guys look, oh my that's why. If you guys look over there, I have a clamp for my phone over there next to my TV. So whenever somebody FaceTimes me or whatever, I can just, put it on the clamp over there. Um, I was gonna use that thing for um, like, B-roll and stuff like that. That way I could have a second shot. Yeah, it didn't work out like that because as soon as I put my phone sideways, the whole thing would just go right on the table again. So kind of stinks, but hey, it is what it is, I guess.
I want to get the Belkin MagSafe mount for your iPhone that goes on the monitor, or it goes
Yeah,
on the well, right now it's on the MacBooks, but they already announced that they're doing one that will be universal, so you can use it with any monitor, so you don't have to like use it with the studio or any. Well, they're gonna have one for obviously that's for there, but then they'll have a universal, so you can just adjust it. Because that'd be
yeah,
nice. Because I have a LG Ergo monitor.
yep,
It's just
yep,
the 1440p 27-inch one
right.
um, that I like to use. But when their current one is limited to the thickness of a MacBook, which is pretty thin, the display part of it, it's kind of limited. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So,
I
Michael, tell us what have you been up to as far as your channel? I saw that you had a video up. I just haven't been able to watch it yet. I will as soon as I don't know when, but yeah.
I shifted everything so the views aren't doing great, but I'm back to doing my discussion and like educational kind of like
Mm,
conversational educational style content. People seem to enjoy that before, and the same thing happened when I did it initially, and then it kind of takes off. So I should do that again and just keep pushing it. And it's fun stuff I like talking about. My next video is going to be about AI and privacy intrusion.
okay.
So basically, some discussion with that, and also discussing how like the difference between why Siri performs worse for some people versus Google Assistant, but that kind of the user is kind of at fault in some ways with that, which is going to make some people mad, but it's true. You can only train the algorithm and for software for AI if you actually use it. So if you refuse to use it because you think its poor performance is based on your attitude and your kind of use of it. So that's a little bit of a touch on what's going to come into conversation with that. And I know some people will get upset and I might lose some subscribers, but you know what? It's true. So it's like somebody mentioned today how like Apple includes their well, they called it a VPN no matter what like iCloud level you're at, as long as it's one of the paid versions, and how Google you had to have the higher version. And it's like, well, for one, for now, because they're going to be making it available for any device for free, but private private relay that Apple has is not a VPN. It's a I can't think of. There's another three-letter word for it. Regina might know, but basically, it only hides your IP address. It doesn't have anything to do with location, which is huge. You know why you use a VPN is like, well, Taylor might know this. You'd use a VPN if you wanted to watch shows that are only available in like Puerto Rico or something, or you're in Puerto Rico and you want to watch stuff that's only available in the States. You can change your location. Although Netflix blocked my VPN, I use IPVanish, and when you go on there, it won't. It just doesn't work. Like
Ooh.
it pops up a thing like you just can't, which I get. Um, a while back, they used to do that where Netflix would monitor your location. So if you shared your
Mm.
password, you had to be at that location like once a month. Like YouTube TV does that.
Ooh.
So you can't just But Netflix got harped on for that. They lost. That was when they lost. It was like 100 million customers or something in like a week.
Oh,
And they
wow.
gained most of them back, but they lost them because they, people were like, well, fine, then I'll go somewhere else and find it. And then people were, pirating content instead, which not condoning that, but people will do it.
Jeez. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Jeez.
Siri has gotten a lot better with the newer versions of iOS and on the watch and stuff. I use it all the time, and even like how it understands as punctuation, and even as fast as I can talk, sometimes it picks up.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it misses stuff, and it's like, well, because it would make sense as one sentence without it, and it doesn't know, and you got to train it. And I understand accents are a problem, but same thing. My issue was Google Assistant for home control stuff kept being like, you need to connect to the internet. Like it kept losing its connection with my hubs and stuff. So it's like, well, I can't be having that. Or if you're away from home, the setup for it's not as easy. When I set up my HomeKit stuff, I can be anywhere and ask my iPhone, like, show me living room camera, and it will show me my living room, or show me my son's room, and it will show me. And I can be anywhere in the world, and it will do that. With the Google stuff, a lot of it's still. I don't know if Regina, do you deal with like smart home stuff?
Not really, not yet.
Because one thing I found is a lot of the stuff still requires third-party app. So like if you get Eufy stuff, you still have to go into the Eufy app because it doesn't show the live feed inside Google Home yet. Whereas I can go into my, HomeKit Apple Home app, and it will show there or within the Eufy app. So there's still a lot of companies that are doing that. But I think it's Google's push to want you to use their stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they did even more this year with making it so if you buy the new cameras and buy some of the new their new Wi-Fi, it won't work with the old Wi-Fi. You have to buy. So you'd be like, well, if I buy one hub, well, and I have 4 others, well, you're gonna have to replace those other 4 for it to work now. Like people think Apple's bad. I think some other companies are way worse with some of that stuff, and it's just because Apple gets put in the news more. Same thing with Samsung with like, their trackers do the same thing as what Apple's AirTags with the whole like monitoring without people knowing. Same thing with Tile. Tile's worse because you have to install the app. At least with the Galaxy one, technically, if there's other Galaxy devices around, it could get notified. There's at least that. So, I don't know. That's just the whole like people are critical because they're up there and rightfully should be critical of companies. I'm critical of them, of every company, but it's one of those like if we don't talk about it until a popular company does something, that's the real issue with tech right now is people don't talk about it until it's in the news. And then when it is, there's concerns that are not quite researched. So one of the huge things right now is with the Foxconn protests and how Apple did the 10-minute limitation on AirDrop, and people are critical of it. Well, they were planning on doing that like months. This has been months in planning. You really think Apple, I mean, they can with certain things, but like implemented that overnight? That was a legal thing because in China, unfortunately, and because Apple wants that market, China government can be like, you have to do this to follow our standards, and Apple does it. Like certain apps in the App Store happens in Russia, happens all over the world. Unfortunately, now Apple won't. There's a point when they won't cross, and they'd be like, fine, we just won't be here. But when it comes to like kicking apps from the App Store or like allowing certain apps for their region, they'll do it. Like I know there's some Russian based apps that like but it's mostly for news that basically they were like, you gotta allow these, and Apple's like, well, as long as it follows our policy. So they didn't even step up on that. They want to be like, no, you're just going to pass it. And Apple's like, we can't do that. We're US. We have worldwide. We have regulations. We're US based, so we have to follow those nationally as well. And it's just interesting discussion with this stuff. And
Yeah.
there was a huge article about Eufy. Actually, Linus Tech Tips did the video about Eufy and privacy stuff. And now it's come out that they were kind of wrong about that. And it's like, I've noticed that though, that these big channels that don't necessarily do their research and then they just quickly post the news stuff because they see some news article about it. It's like, do your research. Like, you seriously are going to stop working with Anchor and Eufy over that? I mean, I have a hot take on stuff, but I won't go there. I mean, he's got sponsorships from companies that I've dealt with that like tried to pay me for reviews. So if you want to go, yeah, there's certain desks I won't buy because of that. Let's just put it that. That's all I can technically legally say. Like they threatened to sue me when I posted my emails on Twitter.
Oh
Dude.
wow.
And I'm like, you realize that I can post them because you didn't like require me to sign any like thing, and even though because email is not technically considered private, and that's also why it's the only form of communication that you can do legal that's considered legal binding. Like, text messages technically are not all that stuff. Oh great, you got that lovely bot in your chat.
Oh,
And unfortunately, I'm not in my YouTube to be able to take care of it for you.
Now I'm taking care of it right now. Oh God, yeah. Gotta love the bots. Gotta love the bots.
I feel like
Anyway.
tech is just also full of like reviews and sponsored videos and showcases and stuff that I'm like, it's flooded with that, but nobody's having these conversations. And even if it means the algorithm takes a while, because if nobody's talking about it, it's not gonna, you're not gonna have another video that gets directed to yours. You're not gonna have somebody else talking about it, which might then get fed to yours. But
Yeah.
the way I'm doing my thumbnails now and the way I'm titling things and putting stuff in description and relating it to a particular company or product should help. My most recent one, I kind of based off from like Science Magazine, like Popular Science or like Discovery. When I created the thumbnail, I was like, you know what? They have such popular stuff and they always have these discussions. Why not base and it's pretty simple. I mean, it's multiple layers, but as far as like the thumbnail itself, it's pretty clear and pretty simple. And I like oh, by the way, either of you heard of Pexels, Pexels? It's website where you can, so it's copyright free images and like video clips. So I use those for my background. So like my recent one, I have like there's like lightning in there, and then there's like some other stuff. And so I just go on there and you type in the search, and you don't have to worry about copyright. High quality images all the way up to like some of them are like 48 megapixel images, which is way more than, I mean, your thumbnail's only 720p when you upload it. So.
Yeah, true.
And 2 megabyte file size limits. So yeah, anybody that does content creation or anybody that's just looking for images to use, like if you wanted to print out like a desk mat or a mouse mat, like there's websites where you can upload your image and print them, or like phone cases, or there's all sorts of things, MacBook cases, iPad cases that you can do custom. You could use images from there because it's, like I said, it's copyright free. It's one of the things I had forgotten about till I was looking for a nature-based background. I was like, oh yeah.
That's interesting. So Michael, we were talking about, of course, Mac versus PC, and I had asked Regina what she thought was the best, for somebody in 2022 going into 2023. Can't believe that I'm still saying this, but yeah. This
30,
year has been
30 days. 30 days.
damn. What would be your recommendation of the year, as far as a Windows computer?
So it kind of depends.
Okay.
Because in all honesty, I kind of feel like you could, if if you don't need a laptop because you're not traveling and you're going like
Hmm.
desktop, I feel like, I mean, I built my computer. It's a Ryzen 7 2700X and an RTX 2070. So that was 2019, like March of 2019 when I built mine. And
Okay.
that stuff still holds up pretty solid today. I feel like you could go with like a few years back hardware and still get really good performance, and you'd save a ton of money because like you could, the fact that you can go out and buy like a newer, like a 5600G for like under $100 means you should be able to go buy that series for like super cheap. Like you could probably get your processor, your motherboard might actually be one of your more expensive parts because those are still kind of pricey. Now if you want to be able to upgrade, you're going to have to go newer because that you could only upgrade to the 3000 series, and then after that, and then with GPU, you're kind of limited, so you can't do like any of the new AMD like 7000 series and 6000 series like CPU, GPU stuff. Laptop wise, there's still some stuff that's coming out right now. It's all the low end of like the 7000 series AMD stuff. Like
Mm.
the 7350, I think is what I saw. Um, I'm waiting for the new stuff. Their integrated graphics is insane. They're doing, Apple has like how the memory is shared between your graphics and your compute.
Yep.
Well, AMD has been doing, they started this, I think it was a couple generations now. They release like 2 generations a year sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but I want to say it was last like the 5000 and 6000 series, mainly the
Hmm.
6000 series that they started, um, where the memory they're using swap memory
Hmm.
and well, smart access memory is what they call it, and essentially, your system memory, your RAM, can help add on to your video memory, and then also, if you have like a GPU that let's say had can't remember what their highest goes up to, but let's say it had 16 gigs of video memory, and then you had
Hmm.
16 gigs built in your as system memory. Your video RAM could essentially, or graphics memory, you'd essentially be able to kind of combine them.
Yep.
And so with the fact that um like DDR5 that's out now is so fast, like it's as fast as some video memory on older generations. And so you could utilize both of them and not have to worry about like slow down. I think that's why they waited, because previously system memory quite often was slower and had like lower cache latencies and all sorts of things than your video memory. I mean, we were at what, DDR6 when we were as far as video memory when you were using like DDR4 on system. Now we're up to DDR5, and I think we're still on GDDR6 for video memory, but it's getting closer and the speeds are getting better and like the latencies and stuff. And what they're
Hmm.
doing means you could have a laptop with just integrated graphics that can do a lot of what you need to do, including some gaming. Now, obviously, dedicated graphics is still going to be great for that. The AMD side, their problem is they don't support eGPUs, as far as I know yet, which this might change it because you could throw in an AMD like, well, because they don't use Thunderbolt because that's a Qualcomm licensing, and Intel made a deal with them, basically, is the gist of it. Now, some laptops have those ports, but it's for data. Like you can't do video input, like graphics input over it. They limit the speed you can do video out. Like I had a AMD based computer, and I could connect it up to my monitor through that, but it's just the input. So um, I would say MSI is doing some awesome stuff right now too, which I almost forgot about. But like some of their like even their $600 laptops right now have gotten really good. I can't think of the brand that I saw. ETA Prime did a video on, and it was like I said, there's like their low end right now, the
Mm.
AMD new series stuff. But when their higher end stuff comes out, it should be good. Um, so on the laptop side, it varies because it's like if you're doing gaming, funny enough, you can actually buy a cheaper laptop for gaming than you could do for video stuff because you actually don't need as intensive graphics, funny enough, for gaming as you do for video rendering. Most people think it's the opposite, and it's like, no. Like my desktop can, I mean, I was doing 4K 60. I could do, actually, I was getting like 200 frames per second hooked up to my TV with my computer on like, I mean, now, yeah, that was only on like easy to run games, but even then, it's like, then when you go to render, my MacBook Air, my base level MacBook Air, just like slaughtered that $1,600 machine, like destroyed
Jeez.
it. Like I'm talking like you're talking like 15, 20 minutes to render on the PC,
Right, right.
like 30 seconds on that MacBook Air for like an 8-minute video, like a couple minutes, like with what I was
Jeez.
doing. And if I did and that's 1080p. If I did 4K, it got even worse. So, I'm talking like half an hour and longer sometimes on the PC, and on the on my MacBook it might have been, it was like I said, in a couple minutes. And now of course on my 14-inch it's like that doesn't even break a sweat. I've had times where I've edited a video and rendered it and not even seen my percentage drop like a percentage,
Yeah.
and edited a thumbnail. Been watching 4K YouTube videos, and had the funniest one was on my MacBook Air when I didn't realize I had two other editing softwares running in the background. No, they weren't really rendering, but they were still running. I had a Mac OS update that was downloading in the background. I was watching a 4K YouTube video. I was on a FaceTime call, and I was editing inside LumaFusion, and it didn't even like I and
And your computer
in like
exploded?
no, in 2 hours my computer dropped 5% in 2 hours doing all of that, and I didn't run out of memory, which I was surprised. With 8 gigs of memory, you would think it would, but it's just how it's also because when you, with the exception of editing software, when you put Safari in the foreground, they kind
Mm.
of push everything that's not active out. So those other editing softwares, even though they're using some, wouldn't be
Yep.
using as much as like on the Windows side. Windows still struggles with like the RAM management and kind of like giving foreground to what you're working on. So preference, I don't know. I would
I
say it, depending on price, but like Alienware makes some really nice stuff. Even like their 2-year-old laptops are solid.
yeah.
I actually think they're better since they became their own thing. Dell was Alienware was Dell, and then they broke off and they're their own thing. Actually, if you really want them, or well, because Alienware was their own thing. Dell bought them. I actually like what's the company? Origin. Origin PC. I really like their stuff, but I don't know that they kind of do laptops, but those are the people
Mm.
that were Alienware. And when Alienware got bought out by Dell, all like their employees left. So it just kind of, it's one of those, I can't really give a blanket answer to it.
Yeah.
Because like, are you gaming or are you doing like simple stuff? For example, a friend of mine was like looking at doing at home work stuff and didn't really need anything super complex. So she got one of like her dad bought her one of the Gateways laptops because she just needed a webcam
I
every
haven't heard
once in a
that name in a
while.
while. They're still around?
Yes, Walmart. Walmart bought Gateway.
Really? I haven't heard that name in years. Wow.
Last time I
Wow,
saw a Gateway
I thought I
laptop,
knew everything.
I was
Shoot.
probably like 12 years old last time I saw a Gateway laptop, a Gateway computer.
Bro, I was probably like 5. Never mind. Jeez.
Was it Gateway or was it Compact that had the where it had the dots on it like a cow pattern? Was that the Compact
Gateway.
or Gateway?
Gateway.
Yeah, with their
Yeah,
desktops.
Gateway.
Yeah, I remember
That
that.
brings me
I
back.
remember that.
But like
Jeez.
desktop, I would say if you're comfortable with it, build your own. If you're not comfortable with it, there are a lot of system integrators that will build stuff. And in reality, yeah, you might pay $75 to $100 more than doing it yourself. But they're also, including 3-year to 5-year warranty, which means you don't have to like RMA any of the stuff on your own. If something goes wrong, they'll pay the shipping a lot of times too.
Yep.
And then fix it and get it back to you. Some of them will even give you a temporary, loaner device or loaner, machine. But I wish I would have done that just because there are certain
Gigi's
things
in the
that I
chat.
missed.
What's up? What's up, Gigi?
And on the Mac side, I don't know that I would go anything Intel unless it's like I need dual monitors and I don't care about battery life necessarily on the laptop side, and I'm going to be plugged in all the time, and I'm not really doing video editing if I just want like some of the features. But then again, there are certain features that are only on Apple Silicon, like some of the features, not a lot of them, but some of them.
Regina, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite? What has been your favorite computer, whether it be Mac or PC, to to fix and do whatever on?
My favorite computer to fix would probably be the Windows laptops, not the ones. Some of them you have to take like completely apart to repair, but some of them have the little small components. You just screw out, and you can get to the hard drive and the RAM. Not those have to be my favorite.
Okay. What would you say would be the hardest one you've ever done?
Definitely an iMac.
Ooh.
Yeah, because when you're opening the display, you have to be very careful. I believe it was a 2011 iMac. It was either the 24-inch or the 27-inch.
Ooh, I see Michael smiling over here.
I knew what she was gonna say, and I'm guessing it's the 24-inch because they did stupid things with those generations. Where the 24-inch, it was also the models that like the smaller. They were still doing the where you couldn't use the iMac as a monitor except for the 27-inch version. They did that with the 21 and I think the 24-inch when they went to the 24-inch. I think did that for the first year or so. And I understand part of it's space because they didn't have the components for the actual display board, that aspect to put in there, which I understand. Right. But the easiest, well, pretty much the only laptop I've dealt with for that, but it was pretty easy to handle as far as like doing memory upgrade, was my 2020 Razer Blade. Because you just like popped out, they used like, it was Torx screws, but like, so I had to find a screwdriver bit for that, but like you go and screw it and everything's obvious. You didn't have to like, it's not removing the keyboard to get to it. Everything's on the same, and you just pull the little tabs out, pop the memory out, put the new in, and do it. And probably also because I got a really good deal where somebody sold me 32 gigs of memory for $70.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice.
Shoot. Well,
and then of course newer MacBooks excluding M1, like the last Intel ones are nearly impossible. You can upgrade a lot. Well, once they started soldering memory on and stuff, unless you're going to learn how to solder inside a machine, and then you're going to try to find the components. You're going to have to buy one that like something else is broken and then desolder and resolder, because it's not like you're going to just go to like OWC or something and order a CPU or memory for that, and that's from them.
True. So we're closing in on an hour. If anybody has anything else that you want to talk about or any questions, leave it in the chat now and we can go over that. Any questions for myself or for NPT, the geek over here, down here? Just,
Thanks for using that word and not
relaxing.
thanks for using that word and not the other word.
What would that? You know what? Never mind.
Starts with an N, ends with a D, has an in the middle.
Oh. I mean,
Actually, I don't take offense to either one of those. I don't know.
let's see. I believe I have well over 100 Chrome tabs on my S22 Ultra, yet performance is still super snappy. My old Pixel with 4 gigabytes of RAM would crash. Ooh, that's harsh. That's harsh. Damn.
Newer memory and faster storage, and then faster memory, newer memory style, and faster storage, and is a huge help in newer devices and newer machines. I'm trying to remember how many tabs they got open to on the MacBooks when they were doing that with like the spec'd out M1 Ultra spec'd out Studio Mac. Somebody opened tabs to see how many it would take. I think Chrome got to the point where they're like, yeah, you just can't open any. Like, it was a Chrome limitation more than memory, if I remember.
Jeez.
I think it was like well into the hundreds. Like,
wow.
At that point, what are you doing, and how are you going to find any of the tabs? They're going to be so small, you're not going to even be able to click on one of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're going to have to use like keyboard shortcut and hope that you can and sit there all the way through or put one of those little pecking birds down on so it just does it for you.
I can see Shark doing that though. Oh man.
A little shark on an arm.
Right. Shark, I need you back on here too one day, man. I need to get back to live streaming weekly. That was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah,
as long as
I'm off doing live streams for a little while, with holidays and stuff, and then I had guests. I got sick, and then I had a couple guests. They had one of them. It wasn't Ike. It wasn't his fault. I mean, there was a storm that came through and knocked out us everything. So that's not,
ouch.
But I just had some things that happened, and
yeah,
I don't know. I just I mean, you get decent watch time, or I get decent watch time, and I get okay views, but like, I don't know. I just kind of want to do regular content for a while, and
yeah, that's how
I can take the hour that I would be doing a live stream and probably sit down and just like record like several times worth of video, and then edit it and probably edit at least one of those in that amount of time, and then or all of them, depending on. Lately, I've just been record and upload. I don't even edit.
Ooh, damn. I would never. I've seen a lot of people do that lately, though. I've seen a lot of people.
Maybe cut the beginning and the end if you have it where your like hands going away from it or you're reaching towards like the first 2 seconds and end. But I've also figured out I'll hit record and then I'll wait like a few seconds before I start talking, because otherwise you might have it where you try to clip the beginning or the end, to get your movements out, and you just edited out part of your voice. Some people do that. Have you ever noticed when you start to watch a YouTube video and it will be halfway through a word when it starts at the beginning? It'll be like, yeah, I know.
Well, thanks for calling me out, Michael. Thank you.
Well, I clicked
No,
on one of your videos and I heard one time and I heard hello, TA Tech here. Like you missed half the half the hello was clipped. I was like, what is going on? YouTube does that though too. YouTube
Yeah.
clips weird stuff.
Yeah, and you know what I don't like is when I'm watching YouTube on the TV, especially, and like those 5 seconds are muted, and then you can hear it. It's like, what? Come on, you gotta fix that. But anyway, I
Hey,
agree to come on over. Yes, exactly. No, it's always fun with Michael. I haven't talked to Michael in a while, so it was great having both of you. Thank you, Regina, for taking some time out and hanging out with us. Again, is there anything you want to talk about or ask one of us? Even these people hanging out with us in the chat. Can't forget these people.
Oh no. No, I just appreciate the invitation you invite me on, and I appreciate everybody for coming on watching and the good conversation.
Awesome. Michael, is great having you as well, man. I can't get rid of you, so I'm sure you'll be back at some point. But thank you guys all for watching. For those in the replay crew, thank you. And make sure if you guys are not subscribed to myself, Michael, or Regina, make sure you guys go and check them out as well. I'll have links in the description for you guys for easy access. And with that being said, guys, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night.